Hey guys, another Size here. Got Magazine 2 helping me out here. We're going to be going through It's Better Together by FloddyFosh. If you're playing a multiplayer, then more than likely you'll start up here, punch through this glass, and head down the water. And one of you can punch your way into this room down here. There's probably an easy way to do this, but we just punched our way through. There's Magazine, starting with the punching. He's a good slave. Very good. This is all post-commentary, by the way. We kind of recorded it. It took quite a while and the commentary got a bit dull, so I had to cut around a bit. So as you may know, this is a two-player co-op kind of deal. We had a bit of trouble to begin with. We couldn't get monsters to stop spawning on Mag's server, so yeah, hope you enjoy it. I'm going to cut out some of the more boring bits. I'm going to go through, and this is going to end up more like a guide than playthrough. It's going to be, I think we're including most of the fun bits. But I'm going to try and talk you through most of the puzzles, so if you're playing with a friend, then you at least got some sort of idea of what to do if you get stuck. Something to refer to. Anyway, looks like I'm player 2, and we're heading in.
Today we are going to clean your body. Keep hands, feet, and all other things inside, please. Scanning body.
So, we're being scanned. For some reason, I don't know why we're being scanned, but that's what's happening right now.
Wait for it.
I'm waiting. So I think there's a lot of pistons in this. There's my clone. Hello, clone.
Huh, I was expecting a monkey. You don't even look like a monkey. Oh well. Hello and welcome to the FloddyFosh Clone Creation Center. 50,000 people used to work here. Now it's a fully computer-controlled main facility where clones are created and tested to use them for scientific purposes. Allow myself to introduce myself. Well, my name is FloddyFosh, and I'm monitoring this facility. As you probably just noticed, a clone has been made of you. Before we start with testing, I'll have to inform you some things. First, you will stay forever in this facility. We can't let you go because the last person that left this building caused a pandemic, since he was infected here by a deadly virus. Second, you will be awarded with code at the end of these tests. Probably some tumors too, but don't worry, we'll cut those out. I won't give you armor to protect your body from injury or infections, since power armors are pussies. Now enough chit-chat. Let's go to the first test chamber. We have lots of tests to do. Good luck.
So that was FloddyFosh giving us some info there. Very portal-like.
Don't panic. I made these first tests really easy. I think it's even easier popping bubble wrap. Besides that, the clone is with you, and they say that 2 heads are better than 1. In your case, 1 would be better than none.
Very good, thank you.
Crowbar would come in handy right about now, huh?
So basically these first couple of rooms introduced you to the idea that you've got to work with your friend, whoever you've chosen. Obviously 2 levers, 2 sides.
I'm impressed. I've never met such a small mind inside such a big head before.
Next one's a little bit more challenging. You have to kind of time yourself with the buttons there, because the buttons don't last forever. They kind of turn on then turn off. So you have to kind of time it right, get ready, and then hit the buttons, hope the doors open, which they do in our case. Very nice. So yeah, with all the pistons and things, this is a very portalish mod, portalish map even. It's a bloody good job. Some of the piston things like bug out later on, but you'll see those, and we kind of get around them. We cheat a little, but we try our best at every puzzle. With this one, the first person, player 1, has to get the paper out of the box, throw it through the hole, whilst player 2 is holding up the piston. Then player 2 places the paper on their pressure plate. Thank you, Mag. Player 1 will boost us up. We can get up there, and then they can use their raised piston to get up here too. And then you kind of punch your clone if you want to, and then step away so they can't punch you, and buttons open the doors. Very easy. You always start separately, or maybe not separately, but you start somewhere, and then at the end you both have to get to the end of the room, hit 2 buttons, and it'll open the doors. It's generally the way it works for these first couple of levels. This one starts to introduce some of the more tricky puzzles. This one takes a minute to figure out what's going on. I mean, I jumped over there first, and that's not what's supposed to happen. It works differently. And the other hard thing is things like this can happen. You know, some people playing on a server, you might lag out, you might not quite get a jump, and that happens. So then, for most of these, you have to start all the way from the beginning. So player 2 has to stand on the pressure plate first, and player 1 then jumps all the way to the other end of the room. And only once they're all the way to the other end can player 2 get off this pressure plate. And there's a pressure plate right at their end. So player 1 then, or player 2 needs to get across to the middle platform whilst player 1's on that pressure plate. Not fall and break your legs. Player 2 then gets on the middle pressure plate. Player 1 goes back to the middle, gets on their side, on their pressure plate, and player 2 can then get to the very end, and then the final pressure plate puts out the last set of pistons for player 1. And then buttons, doors, you've seen it before. That's how this works. It's also a good idea to have one of the players definitely opt. You definitely need that. I mean, later on there'll be beds to set spawn points, and you need to set time to night so you can do that, otherwise you can't sleep in the beds. This one's a very interesting concept. The levers on both sides control the redstone torches on the opposite side. So Mag's levers control my torches, and my levers control his torches. So I have to tell him which of his levers to pull to turn all my redstone lights on. Which it takes me a while to figure out, but now Magazine's telling me, or trying to tell me, which lights of his, I'm getting confused just talking about it. He's trying to tell me which lights of his are on and off, and which of my levers I have to pull to get the doors to open. And we kind of get it down, but I go a bit mental pulling levers, and I end up pulling too many levers, and the doors actually slammed closed on us again. So I just turn all these on, the doors open, and the doors suddenly close again. I'm like, woot! And then I'm like, no, the door's closed. But apparently this last lever I shouldn't have pulled again. I'm just checking my torches again, making sure they're all still on, which they are. And Mag's checking his lights, and he spotted which one I need to turn off. It's this one on the end. And the door's open again. On to level 6.
Need a dispenser here.
Now this one's very similar to I think it's the third level even, the one with the paper. Except you can't just throw it through the wall this time. You have to use the dispenser. So after a little bit of running around, having a look to see what the map's got to offer, there's a chest on player 1's side. You need to get the paper out of that. Right now we're just seeing what these pressure plates do. Mag's trying to run across there, but you need both of these down at the same time. So Mag has to get the paper out of the chest, put it in the dispenser. Then I've got the button to activate the dispenser on my side of the glass. So I'm waiting for him to go up and put the paper in, and then I hit the button to get the paper out. And I didn't see it come out there, so I pressed it again, but it's right there, right in front of me. So lob one onto one pressure plate, and then I get on the other one, which raises both of the platforms on the opposite side of the room. Player 1 can then jump all the way across the end, and there's another chest with another piece of paper in it, so then we have 2 pieces of paper. Again, Mag's lagging out a bit, so he has to take a second stab at jumping over those platforms. Gets it on the second time though. And he redeems himself much later, which is brilliant, excellent. All these jumping fails, he sorts those out. So there's another piece of paper up there in a chest, and he dispenses it for me, puts it up there, and then you'll see what's up in that room in just a moment. Dispenser it. Go on Mag, dispenser it good. You need both pieces of paper for this, so try not to lose them. I don't think you can lose them unless you stand there for 5 minutes not doing anything and it disappears. But once you've got both pieces of paper, you need to head up that ladder just in front of player 2 there, just in front of me. Up here, and there's 2 extra pressure pads up there. Throw a piece of paper onto each one, torches go out. Simple stuff. I'm doing my best not to pick up the paper right there. If I want to throw it and then pick it up again. So we can both get up onto these ledges now, hit the buttons, open the doors, and continue on. Looking good so far, looking good. So now this one's a bit confusing. Again, oh well, they're all confusing I guess. But this one, I think we did it a more confusing way than it was supposed to do. The button on my right toggles a coloured block on Mag's side of the glass panel there. And he's telling me what colour it is, and I'm coming back out the door, and then going back in the door, whilst he's standing on that pressure plate, so that I can go hit the next colour button that he's seen. The thing is, I think possibly what he could do is go into the room, and I could click this, and he could just read off to me the order of the colours as they go around. And then I can put the combination in whilst he stood on the door. I could just come through here once and do all 4 buttons, instead of doing this kind of leapfrog thing where we're going back and forth. I think this was possibly one of the longer ways to do this, but we didn't know at the time, so this is how we solved it. But as you can see, it worked very well. Pistons raised, and we can get up to the buttons to leave this room. We passed the test. Didn't do it right, I'm pretty sure, but we passed it nonetheless, that's the goal. Now this one, very interesting indeed. A very mean puzzle. There's water coming from up there, very strange.
Sorry to interrupt your test so sudden, but wow! This is a huge success. I should call your parents to tell them how well you are doing these tests. But I'm not going to do that because I want more testing. I think I should remove the glass wall between you and the clone to make the test more complicated. Also, I should put a nice new item into the test to play with. But where do I keep it? Oh well. Let's bring you together with the clone first, but don't touch the clone too much, please.
So, we've been dumped in a dark room. Very strange. I'm wondering what to do.
Let there be light. That was, God. I was quoting God. For God's sake, what are you lollygagging around for? Let's get that item I promised you. Step in and press the button.
So now we've been named Brainless Subject number 1, and I'm Brainless Subject number 2. Excellent, I love it. So, FloddyFosh is insulting us, as you would expect. These pistons go up, and Mag gets stuck in the floor. So before we continue any further, we have to kind of dig him out a bit. So now there's no glass panel between us, we're both doing these together now. So, it doesn't matter who does what now, but
this way, please.
We just have to continue. So we're being led through the insides, the guts of this facility now. Lots of strange rooms. Heading off to where FloddyFosh is keeping this new item we're going to get. This is a corridor with no entrance there. The diamond room. We both wanted to get in there. We both wanted to get some armor and stuff, but yep, it's an iron door. No buttons, no switches, no levers, no pressure pads. So yeah, we're not getting in there. There's a minecart room. I think the next room's R&D. No, it's the laboratory. This one's probably R&D. There we go. R&D. Just an iron room. You've got the mush room, which I kind of groaned at when I first saw that. Nuclear reactor. And at the very top, we've got cake storage. So there is cake, but we can't get to it.
Here it is. This way. Sorry for the mess.
So you can see this part of the facility is like rarely used. It's all full of cobwebs and stuff. Very old. FloddyFosh is leading us through it to get to this strange item. Probably going to give us some really horrible tests after this as well. More pistons, lots of pistons. So at the moment we're just running around just with our fists. We've got nothing else. We're just jumping puzzles, hitting levers and buttons. But it gets a lot more complicated very, very soon. Right now I think Mag's gotten a bit lost, so I'm heading back to see where he's gotten to. He's trying to check everything, making sure there's nothing in any of the furnaces or chests. As am I. Can you blame us?
Ah, it's over there. It's dangerous to go together, so take it.
Nice twist on the usual mean there. It's dangerous to go together this time, not to go alone. So, a little jumping puzzle, so we can get up to the chest that's dimly lit up the top there. One of the rules of the game is you can burn wool, and there was a little woolen passageway just back there, so we've got a flint and steel. Not the best item to give to a Minecrafter, especially magazine. He's a bit mental with the flint and steel, as you might see in later episodes. So with the wool gone, leaving this very pretty room, heading out to the facility once
now,
more.
Let's go back to testing. Step in so that I can bring you to the more complicated test I just made.
And we're going into these like pairs of things here, breaking our ankles as we fall down there. So this is
well,
test
here
1.
it is, test 1. Don't you like the look of it? I made it with dedication and perfection, but you probably don't care about that.
This is another case of kind of, you got to really understand the puzzles before you just go flying in there. I mean, there's no way you could look at it and just figure out what you've got to do. So it's a bit of trial and error. What you've got to do is, I threw the flint and steel on one of those wooden pressure plates. Use the stone pressure plate to let your other player in, let your clone in, and then use these 2 pressure plates along with a flint and steel to let your other character up the ladder. I'm not sure what's up there. I think he just gets up on top of there, and there's wool up there. So you have to get the flint and steel up to him. But there's a handy little platform just below where Mag stood there. You can throw the flint and steel onto that, like so. They can grab it, go up there, burn the wool. And through very handy gravity mechanics in Minecraft, releases a little passageway to get over to the door. The inaccessible door. Gravel falls down, and we can get out of this. We can solve the first room very gladly. So as we wander through these cobwebby corridors, wondering what challenge awaits us next,
let's go to test chamber number 2.
I'll end the video here, and I'll see you in the next one. Till then, take care. Goodbye, Mag.